Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Henning Heppner. I'm presenting here the company DAT, Dynamic Aquatic Power. I'm co-founder of this company, also shareholder still. We started the company in 2009. And our market is cooling towers. Somebody might say, cooling towers, what kind of market is that? It's pretty boring, really. Anyway, not only drinking water is important, but also process water, as we sometimes heard already in the presentations. Actually, if you just look at the size of this market and this importance of this factor for water consumption, is that about more than 30 billion of cubic meters are consumed in Germany only for cooling processes. It's about 70% of the constants. So you see that this market is also a big market, an important market. Of course, cooling towers are not really a sexy product. They're quite ugly themselves. You see one up here, cooling tower. I mean, they're not as pretty when you look at them from the outside, but if you look at them from underneath or inside, they're even getting more ugly, because you can see all sorts of problems in there. For instance, you can see dirt, you can see scale, calcium, from there, you can see all sorts of rust problems, and you can see microorganisms, and especially the problem of Legionella was already mentioned today several times. Also for cooling tower, Legionella is really a big issue. Maybe you heard, some of you, that last year people died because of Legionella infection in the cooling tower and contamination. So this is our market, and this is our target. You see that cooling towers is really a harsh environment, because the whole idea is evaporation of water, and through this evaporation the water is of course vaporizing, and left is a complex mixture of all sorts of things in the water. The water becomes very complex and corrosive, and what are the people doing with it? They are treating it with all sorts of chemicals. You have in there a whole mix of stabilizers, of inhibitors, all sorts of things, and then against the scaling effect, usually ion exchangers are used because of water system to remove the hardness of the water. However, the vicious cycle goes further, because out of this kind of mixture is a nice feeding ground for microorganisms. Biofilm is developing everywhere, and the whole cycle starts again, because you need to find them, the bioseeds for that, and people just put it in the water in order to get rid of the problems. However, in the end, it's getting even worse. And the ultimate effect is that you need to flush a cooling tower. This mixture goes into the wastewater and creates a problem for the environment. That is the situation that we have right now. However, of course, a big market is developed out of that need to treat cooling water. And we heard already today from some of the companies presenting that this market is not only a big market, but also a nice and profitable market for big players in the market. These estimate the total worldwide market for chemical treatment by $5 billion per year. And there are big players in the market who have revolving business dealing with that. And please excuse me if some of you guys are here in the audience, but I think it's a fact that this is a very interesting market. So our goal is to replace this conventional treatment of cooling water, and because we believe that chemicals destroy the nature unnecessarily, and we have already seen, of course, in some areas in the world, as for instance, ion exchangers are banned because of too salty wastewater, and all those things are increased by cooling needs. So our goal is to get rid of chemicals, and our goal is to get rid of ion exchange. What we developed here is a system that we call DAT, and it's basically a combination of different key components together with an intelligent control system. It starts with physical treatment, which is our aquavial product, and is enhanced by biological treatment, and of course the whole control is then done by a control system. And this is the whole cycle that we are dealing with. I don't want to go into more details, but I can tell you maybe you have some time today before the lunch break or after. I don't have a sidekick up here, but my sidekicks I will tell you. And we have actually a 1 to 100 scale model of a cooling tower here. And you can see our real-life process of cooling tower treatment in the back and the left corner there. So you are invited to look at it by yourself. And you can see the whole process here of our different components. And it starts with the aquapion, which takes care of the scaling and the corrosion. Then it goes to a filtration unit. Then this is a biological treatment. And again, the stabilization of the water is done by the aquapion galvanic water treatment system. And this is the cycle that you develop out of it. A couple of words about the key components. This is a well-known product already since 2003 on the market. The inventor is Mr. Mark Flettner. He's on the site, and he's also co-founder of this company, DAT. And actually, the idea came to use this key component also in cooling tower environments. This component is already in the market from household, single-family houses to industrial application. It's our environmental friendly answer to water treatment to stabilize hardness and also prevent corrosion. It's based on a superficial anode system. There's a pure zinc element here, and this takes care of the corrosion first, and also through this release of zinc ions, also then the calcium is changed in the way the crystals are formed. You can see here normally you have calcium in the water, which is causing a lot of problems. And by this aquapion, basically what is happening is that instead of calcite, you have arsenate. It's a very soft form of calcium crystals. And here you have no residues on the system, and it's washed away very easily. It's a very simple base. Then we have a filtration unit here. There are no moving components here. It's very good for our maintenance. I don't want to go into the details on this. The other real key component for us is our what we call biotransformator. We don't want to get rid of biofilm in our cooling tower treatment. We just want to put it on the place where we control it, and that's here our surface in the biotransformator. So we say, instead of getting rid of it, which is never really possible, we are dealing with it, we are controlling it. This device was actually developed out of this fish pond, aquarium kind of development, and we found out that this system is working so well in those environments that also in cooling tower we can actually use it. This is one of our key components, and the combination of our biogenerator together with the aquarium is actually a patent that is right now in the process of being released. So we have now built up pilot cooling tower for our development. And what we found out is clearly that without our system, the Legionella, for instance, go up. And with the system that we have invented, we have perfect control about Legionella with this kind of system. The whole umbrella over it is this intelligent control system that controls all the parameters of the system. It can be remotely controlled from a kind of maintenance center. So we have actually control over every cooling tower. We can see it through the internet, and the cooling tower runs automatic and everything, and we can control any kind of parameters. This is our model that you can see back there in real life. And Mr. Straub was here to build up that model. Is happy to explain to you how it works. So our installations were starting in the beginning of the year in Düsseldorf, in Mannsmann, and in Munich, in Wetzlar. All the results were monitored by an institute, the IWW in Essen, and we have the two pilot customers, and of course, we now expect that those pilot customers are also converting their existing systems now to the DAT system with this kind of successful pilot projects. Of course, what is our aim here? We want to help our customers. The main purpose of our system is to reduce costs. The costs are twofold. It's a reduction of water costs, and the second is a reduction of chemicals. Here, of course, the cost depends on the size of the cooling tower. Then we have the cost of chemical treatment, which is an estimation between the water consumption, maintenance, and the chemicals. And our DAT treatment is basically maintenance free, but what you need is the installation of the system. Instead of all this annual cost, you have the one-time investment. However, we are able to save up to 50% of the cost. So when we have, for instance, an operating model, or if we have a lease model, we can prove easily that already the maintenance cost of our DAT system is lower than, or the financing costs are lower than the chemical costs of standard systems. That is our USP here. We have started our selling activities in July, in August, and what we found out is that the market is really welcoming us with open arms. We have a couple of customers that are very close here to give us the first order. We expect the first 10 orders this year. Next year, our business plan is to get around 70 orders. We have really high profile customers here, and they are really greeting us because they want to get rid of the chemicals, and for them it's not only a cost factor but also an image factor. Of course, there are a couple of customers here. They are bound and stuck with chemical contracts, so they don't can get out so quickly. But whenever the customer is free to really do that, they are considering our market. Our market is really based on the 5 billion total market. We are concentrated on industrial cooling towers. The industrial cooling towers, we see a market of worldwide 1.2 billion. It is mid-sized, typical mid-sized application. If we just look at Germany here, it's $100 billion per year of market. We expect that about 25% of those customers who are spending 100 million per year right now would convert immediately to such an alternative system. Since our costs are about 2 years of turnover of chemicals, our market could be immediately 50 million. Potentially, we just have here 25 million just to be able to cover and to supply this market. That's our business plan, very roughly. This year, as I said, 10 devices, next year 70. We could go up easily to 700 in the next years. Our bottleneck is right now to get the right people on board, and of course to pre-finance this growth. That's why I'm here. I'm looking for money to pre-finance this growth. We need about 2 million euro to do that. Our business is expected to be really highly profitable, and we are limited only by this. This is a business plan actually for Europe. We are also ready to talk with Asian partners to multiply also this kind of a business plan for Asia. This is a team here. Mark Heppner is here. He's the grandnephew of Mr. Anton Heppner, who invented the Heppner motor and the helicopter. He's here. He founded Aquabion company in Deutschland. He's a majority shareholder. I'm a little bit in charge of investor relations. Mr. Strauch is our expert who developed our system. And then we have Reinhard Wille here, who is also here, and he takes care of purchasing. And this is Mr. Geisel, who is in charge for sales. So we have a competent team here. Those guys are coming from the traditional water business for many years, and we are feeling completely comfortable that we have a good product and we are going to have a revolution like the other guys for drinking water. We are going to have a revolution in the cooling tower market. This is a summary. I don't want to bother with that. I invite you to look at our model, and I invite you also to talk with us about